Welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson, and on this week's edition, we have Ponca City Wildcat football head coach Scott Harmon. And of course, Sand Springs was in town on Friday. The final score wasn't what any of us wanted. But you know, Coach, when you look at the effort, I got to tell you specifically that last touchdown when Justin flew over the pile. I mean, he really got some air in that dive into the end zone. As you look at the individual performances, what can you tell, and can you give some shout outs to some of the players that you can tell they're really out there busting their tail?
Justin is one of those kids. He got kind of thrust into the starting quarterback role this week with Kiter's injury, so he's really playing probably the two toughest positions on the field. He plays kind of our field corner. On defense, which is a really tough position and very demanding, and then on offense, you're playing quarterback too. So you have to give a lot of credit to that young man for being able to do that on both sides of the ball. Sam McKinney played really well, a young sophomore, made some good catches and did some good things defensively as well. You keep looking at Lennox Sun Eagle does a really good job on defense. So Sheldon Takoiti also played pretty well defensively last week. So we're having some pretty good individual performances, but we've kind of got to tie it all together and have a great team performance in order to win a ball game.
Yeah, absolutely. The role of penalties in the game, how do you feel that, when you see the flags come out? And you know what's interesting is sometimes when we're watching the games, there are some games where they don't come out as often, and other games where it's like they're coming out all the time. Is that just a difference in officiating styles with different crews, or does it come down to the infractions are just happening?
Oh, and the officials are. I mean, it's not an easy job.
Right.
First of all, they're in a no-win situation to be an official. They're not paid very well, and they're just not, in a good situation. Nobody's ever going to be really happy unless they're almost perfect, and that's tough to do in that situation. We had 3 personal fouls all on our players last week, so we addressed that this week. We can't have personal fouls and kind of put us behind the chains a little bit because we have a hard enough time as it is. When we get put in third and longs, we're just really not set up to do that very well. So we talked to our players about maintaining their composure and then not speaking to those guys or speaking to the other players. So we've addressed that. There was a couple of calls in there we felt like could have gone our way, would have helped us a little bit, but those are kind of pretty much what I call excuses, and we won't use those. We'll stay hooked up and go to work and kind of believe in the process and really rely on ourselves to get better, other than looking elsewhere to lay blame.
Yeah. Not too far of a drive down the highway and Highway 60 over to Bartlesville, and you talk about a big game. There's a trophy on the line, and of course, the trophy was brought home to Ponca City last year. Defending that trophy now between Ponca City and Bartlesville is the challenge. And tell us about this game Thursday night. Now, this is a Thursday night game. So if you're watching this on Thursday, the game is tonight, 7 p.m. Of course, it is fall break. But big game Thursday night in Bartlesville. Tell us about
it. They've got a new coach, too. Coach is a guy coming out of Beggs. He's Blankenship's nephew, Coach Blankenship, that was at Union and Tulsa, good football family, very, very good football coach. So he's kind of going through the same process we're going through here. They do have a really talented running back. We're not for sure if he's off of injury yet. He's been a little banged up, so he hadn't been playing. Early in the year, he was really good. They're a very physical team. We'll have to do a good job of tackling again. We didn't do a very good job tackling last week, so we'll address that and work on that a little bit this week. But it is a big game with the Conoco, branches in both towns, and it being such a kind of a how I say it, a small town rivalry between bigger towns. You know what I mean? That's why the way I kind of see it, we don't play Stillwater anymore. So between Enid and Bartlesville, these are kind of our 2 main rivals, and this is one last year that they won, kind of snuck up on those guys while they were going through some coaching adversity too. So it's one that's very important to us, and we want to go play well.
Yeah, it's going to be great. If you're making that trip, we encourage you to back the Cats. And of course, Wildcat football, always on the radio. Certainly want to mention that. 100.7 FM, KPNC, Jordan Woodruff and Wade Haugen with all of the action there. And the live video stream at pohisports.com. We're looking forward to a big game Thursday night. Coach Harmon, thank you for being here, and
Appreciate it, Sean.
it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, Coach Scott Harmon, the head coach of the Ponca City Wildcat football team, and that's Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Until next time, thanks for watching.